Well, Deuteronomy is a book that I've just studied this past year, and one of the things that I found fascinating in it was that at the end of Deuteronomy, Moses gave directions that all the kings, and of course there were no kings in the day of Moses, but this was something God gave him to say. Moses said that all the kings that were to come were to write a copy of the law in their own hand. And they were to write it out and then carry it with them wherever they went. And they were called to read it every day of their lives. I think, wow, what a great direction that was for each of them. However, I don't hear of them any place in the Scripture that any one of them did that. And what we see is that the kings of the Old Testament, for the most part, the kings of Israel, none of them were good kings. And the kings of Judah, there were very few that remained good all their lives. There were quite a few that started out well, that started out wanting to do the right things and to live a life for the Lord. But so many of them failed before they were finished, before their lives were over. And I really do believe it's because they didn't read the law. They didn't have a copy for themselves and read it every day. And I think this is so important for us to consider because we have it so available. The Bible is the best-selling book in the world, and so many households have copies of the Bible. But even for believers, there are a great many Christians that don't pick up their Bible every day and read it for themselves and study it for themselves. And so for Christians, and I think even leaders, Christians that are leaders, we have to remember that we can't let the activities that we do for the Lord and the work that we do for the Lord take the place of the devotional time that we spend with Him. I've heard even leaders of great ministries talk about the fact that at some point in their ministry, they've been so engrossed in whatever their service was that the time they spent in preparation for their service sort of became their devotion and their devotional time. And they found that just didn't suffice. That we have to have personal time with the Lord where we're one-on-one, we're studying something that's just especially for us, and we listen to the voice of God in our own lives. And so that's one of the things that I think we can learn from the Old Testament kings is we've got to have our own copy of the law, the book, the whole book, not just the law, and we've got to be in it every day, and we've got to be listening for the voice of God through it, through the principles of Scripture, and then apply it to our lives.